naar het afsturen. Bij ons ook, maar de lijftvraag gestuurd wel. Ja.
Well, I think that in the table here we agreed in the past that things were more rigid, more fixed, and that like were appointments or classes or lectures.
Right, so we're just going to write down the future ones?
And the future, we feel that the problem is reaching the lecturers and reaching the teachers. So the material's there, but some people might be progressive, but other people might be worried about the fact that they'll have a lot of extra work, or that they might not be teaching the same subjects the following year, and you know, that's sort of the issue. We have to seduce the teachers, in fact. That's
good.
Yes.
So faculty and instructors,
yes.
in terms of the future, was really the focus.
I think that's the big issue, yes.
Okay, reaching out to faculty.
And we also have different perspectives.
That's okay.
So in school with those students.
Yes.
So we have the...
Terrific. Great. A student
for
perspective.
in the game.
Yes, absolutely.
They have another perspective, and we're quite there. We only set our perspective, but I didn't hear it.
Okay, you're going to hear it now.
You're going to hear it now, okay.
So we do yours, and then if it differs, we'll do yours.
Yeah, I think that one of the goals that we as a university college have is that we would like to reach more students, more from different students for distance learning, working students, but also students with more disabilities or more different learning styles. And what our objective is that we kind of design learning paths for those different kinds of people, if you can say it like that. But with the goal that every student can use all materials developed for the different kinds of students, for the different kind of learning styles. So that's for the long-term goal.
So multiple types of materials made available.
Materials, instructional methods,
all of the
evaluation methods even, so whatever.
Good. Yeah. And did you have something different?
I just want to refilm everything, and it's better to with the microphone on to speak with.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I agree with what she says. That it's good that now it's all presented in a very monotone way. And I think it's important that we go find new ways, new materials to reach that diversity of students that there is, and to inform the students that they can come, that there is a place that they can go to, and that there are facilities, because I also think that's a little bit a problem that the students are not informed enough that there are possibilities and there are facilities that they can use, and I think we have to reach the students in the first place, and and use the possibilities that there are.
Right, for the resources that are currently available.
Yes. Okay.
Great, very nice. Thank you.
I told the same thing as my colleague Lies, but here is also we have a little bit difficulties with the idea. We have one goal. We want to adapt our education to all students, but we are afraid that the individual student won't find his way. How can we make it easy for us to choose between all the different opportunities? That's a care from us.
Good. Good.
Yeah, another aspect was that in the past there was maybe too few information for the students, but nowadays there is maybe too much so that they do not read it anymore. If, for instance, is every professor has to give all that information that was indicated this morning, then they have to read maybe 40 pages and to know all this information, and no student do it, and so they have too much, and too much means that they have no.
Right. Yes. Thank you.
We also added about that there's one traditional way of teaching students, and it can be boring or it's monotone. So we also need to search for variations, interesting ways to teach. And
good. No, that's a good goal. And it's interesting. It's also focused on instruction. You know, okay.
Well, we concluded that we have a lot of means at hand. We really have a lot of tools, but students cannot find their way with it, but neither do the tutors. It's already on the board. In our present, the initiative is with the policy. Okay. Now we have a policy for giving facilities to students with disabilities, and we would like to see a lot more initiative with the tutor to use the tools in his lessons.
Similar to...
Yes.
Okay.
It's not really necessary to create new tools. We think we have a lot of them, but we don't use them enough.
Okay, great.
We discussed, I'm from the Netherlands, and we have a professor from South Africa here.
I know.
And we have a woman from Norway. So we're quite international here. We discussed that in all our universities, research is seen as more important than teaching. So it's the culture. The culture. We would like to change that culture in the future.
So you're aiming high?
Yeah.
Yes, good.
So teaching becoming as equal, as important as research.
Oh.
So that opens up doors for UDL.
Yes, absolutely. Good. Thank you very much.
I think we addressed a few different things. How to reach more than just a few teachers who are interested in this in the first place. So how to bring this to everybody to all the staff. That's one of the things. We also addressed a few things about the individual students and how to accustom education for every individual. And we were talking about that a lot of the programs these days are already accustomed, so they don't have the same program. The whole class doesn't have the same program, but we were also talking about short style. Teaching and learning styles. Yes, learning styles. And I think in our classes we don't, maybe not enough yet, we don't address these differences enough yet. So I think media is very important there as well. And we also have the privilege of having a student among us. And he was talking about his own education, and he's saying they're working with PGO, so they're working about teams. They don't have courses, but they have one team, and all courses are incorporated there. So I was thinking what you can discuss that. I was thinking what you said about you don't have to change your goals, that's important in these kind of teaching methods.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Good. With goals. Because we sometimes think about, it'll come up, for example, where a faculty member says, well, every student has to write a paper about whatever. And it may be a topic on, I don't know, the Civil War in the United States. I'm just picking something out of the blue. But if the goal is to have students understand about a certain conflict in a certain country in a certain time, and that's the goal, then in fact you restrict the opportunity for students if you say you can only express this in one way, right? Limit it. Are there alternatives? And that's where the discussion with faculty often comes of teasing out what's the goal, what's the means, and would that faculty be interested or flexible enough to say there might be another way that a student could exhibit that they understand this concept and meet this goal. And so I'll talk about that in a minute when we get over there. So this is actually a really important concept. It comes up over and over and over again. And it's particularly true if faculty have been teaching the same course for a number of years. The goals and the means start to come together. And it just happens. And then you have to step back and you go, oh, I thought this was a goal, but it's really a means for getting to the goal. And the goal is something else entirely. And the more you restrict how a goal is expressed, the less likely you are to know what the strengths of your students are. Okay, so it's this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy, where if you restrict it, you only see students who are actually good in that one domain. And as I said this morning, if I said to you now, okay, we're all going to sing middle C, we would tell right away who was able to do that and who wasn't. I'm not. But if that were the only way I would allow you to exhibit your strengths, we'd be seeing a false impression of what you had. So if you take away anything, it's that means-goals dichotomy or differentiating between those two, because it'll come up over and over and over. And I sometimes find myself, if I'm talking with someone about a faculty or an approach, I always step back and say, what's the goal? What are they trying to achieve here? And do we have a confusion of means and goals? And boy, 9 times out of 10, that's what's going on. This one, make teaching as important as research. If you think about an institution as an institution of higher education as a factory, you think about what is its primary product. There are going to be some factories that produce research, and that's what they're designed to do, and the teaching aspects are secondary to that. So in the United States, we have what's known as Research 1 institutions, which are designed to be high-level research. It does not absolve faculty from teaching well, but it means that the thrust within the organization is primarily research and not education, and that the students are this is the goal, and that the students are kind of a means of getting to the goal. And so it's simply a variable you have to be aware of, and research is certainly important for faculty. However, I will say that there are a number of avenues of getting from here to here. So model programs that involve some sort of data collection, where you're actually measuring the situations to get a baseline on how students are doing with a certain subject, and then begin, and particularly in large survey courses where you might have 200 students or something like that, introductory courses where the attrition rate for students is rapid, they may disappear quickly. Anywhere you can combine a UDL initiative with some data collection, you lead to the opportunity of research in a paper coming from it. So another way to think about it is to think about it from a data perspective and say, if we can implement something here and the scale is large enough, we have an N of 200 students to begin with to start research, let's look at implementation, measure them at the beginning, do a similar, do an intervention, and then next year we'll do the same thing. So we have 2 years of data looking at student progress, and let's see if we have something here that we can potentially write up into a research monograph. Then you connect the actual teaching process and the change with the possibility of research. And keep in mind that for faculty, particularly, I refer to them as lifers, right? You're in for the long haul. Research is really important. So that's just another potential lever. Okay.
I think if you want to be a good teacher, you're a researcher. You're always a researcher, right? Because, you have to be able to have something to tell the group that's sitting there. So I think teaching is already as important as research.
Right. Right.
You have to decide that for yourself. But
well, I always believe that good teachers are good learners first. Yes. That they're constantly looking for new things to learn and incorporate into their practice. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
We also have another conclusion, because for the beginning, we have to go further than our habitats on the education, because SIHO exists, I think, 10 years, or they are busy with it a long time.
Yes.
But we didn't see the implementations yet, because so. We think that everyone is a little bit scared and stays in their habitat, so we have to come out and start with it.
Yes, absolutely. And change is very hard. And people are...
Little steps. It's really important.
Yes.
With everything we do, I think it's necessary to take little steps.
Yes.
You can change something once at a time.
Right.
That's not possible. So
I agree 100%.
and what she said, work with the rigid attitude that there is. I feel there is a rigid attitude at this moment.
Yeah.
That makes it slightly impossible to make UDL work in higher education at this
Right.
moment.
Right. I had a student ask me the other day, it was a great question. It was, what's the difference between a school and a museum? And I asked the student, I said, why'd you ask that? And he said, well, they seem to be both places where you go to learn about the past. And I thought, oh, well, this is interesting. Yeah. Let's move over here to